Hello, sweet one. I've been kind of very aware lately of obviously the outer split that's happening, but simultaneously it's very much happening on the inner also. And you may be aware of that in your own experience too. So as the outer false matrix is falling away and the new earth, the new paradigm is becoming more visible to us. So it is on the inside where the false identity that we have been fully identified with, separate from the divine for a long, long time, it's like the split is more visible and more tangible for many of us as that is starting to falling away and this true self is coming to the forefront. So it feels like it's as if this false sense, this identity that we have completely believed is us, it feels like it really didn't have its own will. So this morning, it came to me that it's a liberating of our free will out of the false matrix. Let me just say that again because it feels like it's a very profound thing that we are all either experiencing or will experience. And it's good to know, it's always good to know the signs and where you might get stuck. So we're in the process of liberating our free will from the false matrix. We were given free will, yes, and we have exercised it. And look at the world, right? But it wasn't really free will because our will has been co opted by the false matrix. So it may have felt as if we had free will in our choices. And on that level, we certainly have and had. But now that that split, it's creating more and more gap between who we are and who we thought we were. And in that split, at least this is how I experiencing it. What else can I speak from, right? It really feels like that layer, that density, that um, illusion, that veil that has been covering the true reality, that veil was telling us, you can't do it. No, you can't do it. And no, you're not good enough. There's something wrong with you. Those are all, to me, that is almost like at the core of this veil. It's like that is the inner core, the first thing that we experience when we're born into this world. You can check out an older video called You Were Not Born into Sin. You were born into the false matrix. And that's what I'm talking about again today, because that first layer that we were born into almost, because everybody here, our parents, that is the paradigm that everybody lived by. As soon as we come into this third dimension, it's almost like a spider web that goes all around us and never comes off until now because it's happening. And so that's how we have seen the world. So everything we did, everything we tried, everything we believed in was colored by this first spider web, this first veil or belief that we were born into. And in a way, you can say it was kind of downhill after that. Even though we may be successful, the success was kind of trying to get out of that belief and prove ourselves to be good enough, to be able to do things. And luckily, we're not completely disabled to do things. But in order to come to that deep freedom that I know we are all longing for, and that freedom is our true reality. That's the reality of who we are, and that's the reality of the world we experience here. So as I'm seeing that in myself, that this gap, this split is causing a bigger gap, this part for me lately, well, for not so much lately as recently, I've been seeing that flavor of it, like I can't do it. It's not a mental thing. I'm telling myself because I can get things done. I can do things, but it's that underlying meh, 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 right? That you might not even know the words, but you know the feeling, right? It's heavy. It's lonely. It's incapable. There's something that blocks our true light to shine through. That's what I'm talking about. So we need to liberate our free will from this insanity. When I know, and you can look in your own experience, when I know I want something and that something is more important than anything else, something in me engages as an energy. I call that's my true free will. That is my divine will that arises, and it comes with an amazing energy and openness and frequency and love. There's something alive in that. And if I give myself to that, that will override that so-called free will that has been believing that I can't do it, or I am not good enough, or any other nonsense statement that we have been programmed to believe in. So you might notice that as you move towards this longing, this aliveness, this new earth that you know is possible because that's what you want. It's all you want. And I know there's many, 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 many of us who are feeling that. The more we give ourselves to the feeling, even if we're not able to take action towards it, the main action we need to take is to embrace this longing and not give our energy to the one that says, oh, I can't do that. Oh, it's never going to happen. That is all false matrix wrapped around it. And as I'm seeing it, that the gap between the two is growing, that means now I'm able to stay here longer because I can see this thing, right? That wants to pull me back into the false matrix. But because there is a bigger gap, I am capable of staying here and fine tuning my free will. It's almost like a pencil sharpener, like really making it sharp, like a sharp sword that we need to cut through the BS of the false matrix. You will need a sharp sword, and you may need to go inside and sharpen it at times because this is still here. One of the reasons it is still here is because most people are still feeding it, not on purpose, not consciously, but just like you and I, we have been identified with these beliefs. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. It's never going to happen. most of the world is still living by those beliefs as if they are the truth. And they are feeding it. So the false matrix is getting a good feed out of most people who don't have a sharp sword or, a hot sword that's just going to melt through like butter. Shh. Very powerful. And you might notice as we're doing this right now, you might notice something inside of you is has a very strong intention. That feeling, if you can feel it, that is what we all need. And most of us don't have it in a conscious way. We don't have access to it consciously because we have been giving our free will to the beliefs, to the programming that keep us small, keep us separate, tell us you cannot do it. It's too hard. If you have some physical things, you might notice the pain or whatever it is, and it's like it's heavy. It's dense. It's not just going to give in just because you say I'm not going to do it anymore. You're going to really sharpen that sword by going inside and knowing what you want, belonging for the new earth in whatever way that looks to you. I think it's very similar for most of us, many similar things, and then we may each have our own specific, unique flavors. So that is what we need to go to. Most of us are not longing for, what we used to do when we wanted to start manifesting because we were so disconnected from our power of manifesting that, I want a car and I want a new car. I want a new job. I want to be successful. I want a new lover. All that stuff was all outside. Nothing wrong with that. But many, many people don't have that pull anymore. There is a pull inward. And that is really where we need to go. It's in our heart. And our heart is the portal of the new earth that we long for. There's only one way to get to it, and that is here. There are many ways that we will be distracted to get out of it. The false matrix, all these beliefs, right? What other people say, there's a lot of that. So the more we sharpen our sword and take back our free will, our divine will connection, that's where we sharpen the sword. We take it back, and I would think you can feel it just by me speaking like that. If you can connect that in yourself and say, no, I want this. I want this. And then you might notice what the false matrix what tricks it's gonna do to get you away from this. No, you can't do it. You're selfish. What are people gonna say? Nobody else has ever done it. Yada, yada, yada. That you will have to meet that. You cannot get around it. But when you sharpen this, when you put your attention, it's like, I want to take back my free will. I want to liberate my free will from the false matrix. You need a lot of willpower. But because you know that you want that more than anything, you have the willpower because that is your free will, your divine will speaking, saying, okay, it's time to get back online. We have been playing in this insanity, in this world of duality for long enough. Now we're going to come back home. And that is why we feel this here, longing, so many of us. So will you do what it takes to liberate your free will, the will that really wants this now. This is your divine will. You are not separate. There is not God's will and my will. There is only one will. The other one is just a false matrix suggestion. That's what we've been living up with. That's why we have been moving away from this, so we could have this experience of separation. And it's been great, right? In many ways, it's been great. But many of us are done with it. It's just complete for us. Many people, they still want that. Let them have it. Do not let others stop you from following this. You may, it might be challenging if you, in your family or in a community or, so at your work, whatever, where you are the only one with this divine will that is ready for new experience, its own, it's organic, true experience again. Yeah. You got a lot of opportunities to practice it. It's a better way of looking at it that way than thinking, oh my God, it's too hard, I can't do it. You see, you start recognizing that false matrix wanting to pull you out of you liberating your free will, you liberating your divine will, your divine voice coming out. I want this, and I'm not going to compromise. And the more we really take a stand, the louder it's going to be out here. You'll notice it. I notice it every time. It's not really strong anymore, but in the beginning, it's like, oh my God. And then all this fear came in, which was the false matrix. I didn't know that back then. But now I recognize it like that because I can just see it for what it is. It's BS, and I'm not interested. But it took me some work to get to that place, and keep going, keep going. I'm present with a deeper layer of that right now, and so I'm taking my own advice here and really feeling like, no, this is what I want. I will not tell myself anymore that I can't do it, I'm not worthy, yada, yada, yada. That is where our real divine free will comes in. And that is when we say, thy will be done, not mine. That is it. That's it. And you feel it because your divine will is ready to merge back into oneness. So, let's liberate our free will, our divine will, out of this false matrix veil that tells us that we are powerless, weak, not good enough. That's all we need to pull out of. So it really is liberating ourselves out of all these programmed lies. There are many, many, many of us doing this. It's not back when, whether it's earlier in life, previous lives, whatever. Well, there were only a few of us here and there. You may be one of them. Maybe we were the one, probably a lot more than just us here right now, but we didn't have that support like we do today. We don't have access, we didn't have access to, let's say, to YouTube, where so many of these light workers like me, there's so many. We come out with our little YouTube channel and we start sharing that. It's just so that it can spill over and reach those who are still kind of a little bit on the sidelines, not sure, kind of I'm going to go here or there or here or here. We want to do whatever we can to pull everybody in here so that we start creating what is that called? Like the 51%, right? So it can kind of flip over. Maybe it's not even 51% anymore. They used to talk about that. But get a momentum going where more and more people live in here, connected to the longing felt as the new earth knocking on our door of our heart and say, okay, we have arrived. Now it's up to you, all of us, to open up and make ourselves fully available to that and not to that anymore. If you like this video, please like and subscribe if you want. And it's always nice if you want to leave a comment before you leave. Have a wonderful day, dear friends. I'll talk to you soon.